Yes, as the Russian troops are moved further from the occupied territories, Ukrainian officials find more and more evidences of war crimes committed by Russian troops while they were occupying the territory of Ukraine. I myself was at one of these places, and it's not the only one. There are many smaller towns and villages throughout Ukraine where this happened. Where, for example, right here you see it's the village near Sumy region, and over there Russian troops were occupying the local farm for almost a month. And we have seen their witnesses that they were looting at that time. They were killing civilians. Actually, while the reporters were at that place, the body of a man with his hands tied behind his back and his eyes with a tape on them was found. And people were showing how they were burying the bodies in their courtyards and in the nearby forest, because they were not allowed to use the cemetery because Russian troops forbid them to do so. And people were witnessing, saying how Russian soldiers were killing them just on the streets because for no reason at all, probably because they didn't like them. Also, we were at the hospital, which was shot by the Russian tank, and they did it deliberately. They knew there was no one in the hospital, and of course there was no Ukrainian military there because the territory was occupied by Russian troops at the moment. But anyway, it didn't stop Russian troops to fight and to hit the hospital with innocent civilians, and that happens all over. I'm right at the moment in Kyiv, the second largest city of Ukraine, which is under Russian shelling for more than 45 days now. And here, numerous hospitals were also under Russian fire numerous times. And the residential area I am right now in was hit by Russian planes as well.
Maria, I want to ask you, in light of these even more very tough images that have come to light now as the Russians are withdrawing, how do you expect European countries, especially and the United States perhaps as well, to react to this? Do you foresee some type of harsher sanctions or other measures against Russia? Is that realistic, do you think?
Yes, I think that's what we need, and what we need the most is more weapons, because we understand now that Russian troops are at this moment regrouping, taking additional resource and preparing a new attack on Donbass, on east of Ukraine, and especially in the region of Kharkiv. This attack is already undergoing. So the city of Izium to the southern east of Kharkiv is under heavy attack at this moment, and Russian troops trying to get closer, and people are now being evacuated from the villages outside of Kharkiv because there is a real threat that they might be occupied. And that means that Ukrainian troops need to get more weapons to fight with Russian troops so that they will be able to defend innocent civilians and to stop the next war crimes of being committed. And the other help we need is, of course, more sanctions, but we need to understand that only harsh sanctions on Russian oligarchs might work. So, and that European countries and other countries should stop buying the oil and gas from Russia. That would help, because any sanctions on just some personalities or companies, they will not work in the closest perspective. But we need that. We need that Putin will not be able to finance his war. And for that, we need to cut all the channels by which Russia is receiving money. And also we need help in investigating these war crimes, so that international experts will come to Ukraine to help collect evidences, so that someday these criminals, war criminals, will be put before the court and will be held accountable for what they have done in Ukraine.
You talked about a renewed Russian offensive in Donbass. How do you think Ukraine is prepared for that at this point, and where do you think the Russian military capabilities are now as we anticipate this next phase of the war?
Yes, that's going to be a very difficult month for us here in Ukraine. Ukrainian army is more prepared than ever because Ukrainian army already had a great war experience before this war was started on the 24th of February. But since that time, Ukrainian army is even more ready to fight. And every Ukrainian soldier and officer has now some personal story, has now some personal losses because of what Russians have done. Because the more evidences of war crimes we found, the more dead children are found or that were murdered or raped, the more people and especially army is getting ready to resist to the last. So they will not surrender at any point, and they will fight fiercely. And that means that Ukrainian army is ready. But what is happening right now is Russia is trying to get all the reserves and additional military personnel for this attack. Because you all know that Putin is obsessed with the day of 9th of May. And so for that day, which is called the Victory Day in Russia, and for that day, he will need to show people in Russia some kind of victory. And that's why there is a very likely possibility that they will try to get control over some city to show that this victory, so-called victory, was achieved. Cynical as it is, Russian propaganda now tells people in Russia that if they will eliminate Ukrainians as a nation, that will mean that Russia will be prosperous and nothing will threaten Russia. The day before yesterday, when this awful atrocity in Kramatorsk, this mass murder happened when the rocket hit the railway station full of people. On one of the rockets, there was the saying in Russian, "For our children," meaning that Russian soldiers are told if they kill Ukrainians, that by this they are defending children in Russia.
Right, Maria Avdeeva, certainly the war isn't over, and there still is a long way to go, and we'll continue to be covering here at I-24 News. I want to say thank you for coming on and giving us that perspective, and also from those tough images from where you are over there. So stay safe, and we'll hopefully have you on again in better circumstances.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. Bye-bye.